Hello, my name is Derek, and we are Group 6. In this presentation, we'll be going over our research question about Toyota, the evidence for the question, the basis of our interest, possible rationale and reasoning, and then our group's assessment and recommendations. Our research question was, why does Toyota price the Lexus UX so low in Japanese markets compared to the US markets? We were able to find data and evidence to support our question and support our upcoming reasonings. Here we have the prices of Toyota and Volkswagen, and as you can see, the US prices are almost always higher than the Japan market prices. The only situation that it's not the case is in the last one, Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, and that is still very close. Next, we have some data on the GDP per capita and estimated production cost. So these numbers will be used later in our presentation when we get to the possible reasonings. But as you can see, the GDP per capita for the US is much higher than Japan's. Here we have some more evidence and some more data on more specific parts of the different sales. We can see the difference in RAV4's hybrid sales versus other Toyotas in the US market, and we can see the Lexus UX hybrid versus other Lexuses in the US market. We have the total electrified vehicles sold, and we have Toyota, Lexus, Toyota Motor North America sales. So this gives us a total number of everything that we will then use later in our presentation. Our two biggest reasons for choosing this question was willingness to pay of both the United States and Japan, and the size of the competitiveness of both the markets. When it comes to the willingness to pay, our biggest question is why Toyota would price their vehicles higher in the United States when they would have more domestic value in Japan. We believe that with this higher value in Japan, they could charge a higher premium and earn higher margins on their luxury vehicles. When it comes to the United States, we believe it also to be true the other way around. As for the markets, the US population is over double that of Japan's, and this has led to more competition being in the US. With this higher competition, we'd expect the prices would be lower in comparison to Japan. Also, in Japan, the percentage of market share that Toyota currently holds is about 32%. This led us to believe that Toyota would be able to charge a higher premium on their luxury vehicles.
Hello, this is Siqi Wang. Malik and I am going to illustrate about the possible rationale of the pricing strategies that Toyota uses. In the evidence part, we have the table of GDP per capita and the estimated production cost of Lexus UX in both the US and Japan. And this gives us two pieces of possible rationale. First, we look at the GDP per capita, and we could see that the GDP difference between the two markets would be $30,002, and US GDP level is almost twice as that in Japan. From this, we could conclude that consumers in the US car market have more disposable income compared to consumers in Japan market. This indicates that US consumers have more financial capacity to buy cars with a higher price tag. Then, from the producer's view, we could focus on the estimated variable and fixed cost of Lexus UX. Obviously, the difference in production cost is also significant. The R&D and facility cost in US is 71% higher than that in Japan. The variable cost of car models is similar. However, the promotion spending opens up the gap. In the US market, Toyota's advertising cost was $1.6 billion in 2021, according to the Statista Research Department. Although the advertising data for Japan is not available to us, we can learn from another reference that Ad Age published a list of the top 100 companies in the world with the highest advertising spend in 2017, 46 of which were from the US, accounting for nearly half of the total spendings. This proves that advertising has always been valued in the US, and companies are willing to invest more money in this segment. This means that the cost to enjoy higher exposure to potential customers and spread over more units is much higher in the US than in Japan. So, the conclusion of the discussion would be it makes sense that Toyota price higher in US because customers' capacity to pay and cost of production and promotion are both in a higher level compared to the situation in Japan market.
Hello, my name is Malik, and I will be introducing the HH Index.
Hi, I'm Jingjing Liu. Now let me introduce you to the section of assessment and recommend.
Hello, my name is Malik, and I will be introducing the HH Index and the consumer preferences. So, when looking at the different markets, we noticed that the consumers had different preferences across different geographies. Whereas the American market tended to prefer bigger vehicles, the Japanese preferred smaller, more compact vehicles. Um, Additionally, the Japanese tended to have a strong sense of patriotism, which led them to prefer domestic brands over foreign brands. However, that mostly applied to non luxury purchases, and in this case, vehicles. When looking at the top three most performing luxury vehicles in Japan, unfortunately, Lexus was not part of that. And so it lets us know that the brand equity that Toyota enjoyed as the market leader was not transferring equally to Lexus. To support this claim, we carried out the HHI index and then discovered that the market concentration was moderately concentrated because the value was 1,681. Um, so, putting this into context with the different variables that Toyota and Lexus have to compete with, Lexus is adopting a market penetration strategy because of the fact that they have to compete with foreign brands domestically. However, this is only possible because of the fact that Lexus or Toyota can absorb a lot of the loss in profit because of the sheer volumes that they sell from their other models, like the Toyota Yaris. And speaking of the Yaris, the price difference between the 2022 Toyota Yaris and the Lexus UX was roughly 4,000 something dollars. And so we are speculating that by pricing the model, the UX model, only slightly higher than the Toyota Yaris, Lexus is trying to give an incentive to people to switch from a non-luxury vehicle to a luxury vehicle, assuming that the benefit that they receive from switching will exceed the cost that they pay for the vehicle. And when putting that into context of the competition within the domestic market, Lexus is optimally priced to seize the market by pricing their vehicles lower than their competitors, but still higher than their other offerings from the Toyota brand. And this is supported by the sales data that actually indicates that Toyota Lexus earned a 4.1% growth in their domestic sales. Thank you for watching, and I hope you understood.
Hi, I'm Jingjing Liu. Now let me introduce you to the section of assessment and recommendation. Toyota is concerned that using dynamic pricing strategy for Lexus brand could hurt its reputation for quality. Maintaining a strong brand image is one of Toyota's top goals. Therefore, they're considering using the dynamic pricing strategy. which adjusts price based on customer and market value. Hi. So, as Malik mentioned in the previous section, the Lexus brand sells more because how Toyota it sets price. The price strategy that was used led directly to the rise. Because of this, our group thinks that the Toyota's pricing strategy is most successful one. When things like consumer preference for foreign luxury cars, cost structures, and discretionary incomes are considered, the best way to sell to price like Lexus UX is to sell it for less than the market benchmark. On the other hand, this makes more likely that Toyota will hurt the image of quality it wants to give Lexus brand by doing this. This is something that Toyota wants the Lexus brand to be known for. One of the Toyota's most important goal is to reach this aim. Toyota may use a strategy called dynamic pricing to find a way out for this problem. Under this plan, the price of the product changes based on how customer and market value it. Even though a lot of information was collected by our group and some assumption has been made based on top of this, most noticeable about how pricing are set in both countries. In order to analyze this many problems, it's necessary to make this assumption. However, because of these assumptions, the statements made are less likely to be true. If the models can give more information about the recent sales and cost structure in the different markets, it will help to back up some assumptions being made. Thank you so much for listening.